welcome to another podcast, Tech Talk Podcast. This is a bit of a follow-up podcast, which we did promise we'd do for the Type 2 dying business with protecting margin in the MPC industry. We did actually have a few comments on the first video, or first podcast, I should say. One reads, this video really hits home. I hate to lower my prices and be in a race to the bottom, but I would rather keep some jobs on the schedule and keep my eyes around because keep my guys around because I know things will turn around. Margins might be a little bit thinner this year. Hopefully weeds out some of the competition. I'll take care of my guys and roll along. Another one reads, too many inexperienced contractors with the illusion that polished concrete is easy money for jam or easy work. The flow-on effect from quoting too low to get work is a race to the bottom for everyone, even experienced, long-established companies, because in this economic climate, 9 out of 10, the cheapest price wins. Now, here is the main problem. Cheap quoting or inexperience means below par work and a bad mark for our industry. More and more designers, homeowners and builders will continue to overlook polished concrete and look for other options. In the good old days in the industry, MPC price per square metre and grind and seal per square metre price were all just quoted the same. What I'm seeing now is running costs going up, fuel, tooling, machinery, chemicals, etc., but prices flying down. I'm not telling anyone how to run their business, I'm just stating facts. So that was quite a big response on that one. And one final one, I'm ready for the new boom now. Every time you say how good it was in the good old days like 2022, I cry a little. I didn't own the business until 2023. All valid points though, food for thought to chew on over the weekend. So there's some feedback. So I guess off the back of that, and also off the back of that, we'll certainly touch on those points throughout the podcast. But we've also got some more details of our own and some further discussion and conversation we'd like to have around this as well. All heading in a positive direction, and hopefully people really can take on board some of this and see. Some things that they'd like to check off the list. Josh.
Yeah. Nice intro, Mike. Look, outside of the comments that we had on socials, we also had, I received a bunch of text messages and even a couple of phone calls where there's a bunch of contractors that are experiencing very much the same thing in the industry. Basically, I'm doing the same at the moment. I'm doing it for a whole lot less, and the areas where I'm cutting costs out of the business are maybe not I guess it's probably the least comfortable area to be getting, to be trying to find some extra money in the business, like getting rid of staff and those types of things. Actually, the things that are supposed to produce more for the business. So that's really, concerning to hear. One of the things that I found was interesting. I did a bit of a dive into the construction costs, the things that have gone up over the last 5 years, and I'm just going to read some of those out.
Surely there's not many, Josh.
Huh?
Surely there's not many.
Well, 420 pi has gone up.
What about oak drink?
Oak drink has gone up, too much. The oat drink, the Red Bull, and the pies have gone up, and that's affecting the construction industry to around about 36%. So construction wages have gone up about 18 to 25. Fuel, somewhere between 20 and 55, depending on which month it lands on, as far as the spikes is concerned. We've all experienced that. Vehicle insurance between 30 and 60. Let's call it 45. Business insurance between 20 and 50. So these are some really significant changes that are, that are affecting just the running of the business. And then we're getting the feedback from the market that the clients are asking us to deliver the same thing for less, which is really interesting because...
So you're saying that the overall building cost on average is 30 36%
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So if I do nothing, that means minus 36%
Since 2021.
since 2021
You got it.
for an operating business in this industry. Okay.
Correct. So if you take all of those overhead costs and you've changed nothing, you've just lost that. Whoa, that's big.
And I can feel through the microphone and the speakers, there's probably some nodding heads out there. I just think speaking to customers locally and that sort of thing, that certainly doesn't feel too blown out by any means, especially over a 5-year period.
Yeah.
I mean,
Death from 1,000 cuts, really, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
And then to hear, I guess I'd say the audacity that mobilised manufacturing, concrete polishers, are being asked to lower the price some more. It's unbelievable, really, if you think about it. And then there's even a few people out there who are saying, okay, that's a really tough pill to swallow as an industry.
Just adding on to that 36% every time.
Yeah, true. What's also interesting is this is probably a little bit of a side note, is that in order for concrete polishers to be able to protect their margin, deliver on the same price with all of those additional costs, really, you would have to increase your productivity X, right? So quite dramatically in order to do that. But the efficiency in the construction industry over the last 5 years is down 31%.
Huge.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of funny things going on in the numbers. It's really interesting to hear that polishers are getting the squeeze, and it all sounds really bad, but there's some opportunities, isn't there, Milan?
There's always opportunities, even in when you're getting hit with increases left, right, and centre, as you mentioned, insurances, fuel, overall construction costs. I guess the difficulty I have understanding why this trade is so quick to agree to a lower price versus when you compare it to some other trades, even trades in the same space, so floor layers, for example. I'm fairly sure just to lay some tiles, it's going to be about $110 a square metre. And now, somebody that's laying tiles, you don't need $250,000 or $500,000 worth of equipment just to execute this product. The product's already been manufactured. It's been brought to site. All you're doing is placing it, right? So the margin would be considerably different. So I think the shift really needs to happen. And we've been talking about we're a mobile manufacturing plant for a very long time. You really got to take that seriously. And I bet you the tile plant, their costs have gone up, right? They're looking at how to make tiles faster without compromising, I'm sure, the quality as well. So it'll be the same kind of mentality. How do we produce these floors faster if we're going to keep it at the same rate? Is that even feasible? How do I go faster? Right? That's going to be a serious business decision, because it might be, hey, my team isn't capable of going faster. That means I need to invest in maybe some training. Perhaps it's, hey, my machine's not up to date. It's constantly breaking down. It seems really daunting to, if the market's so competitive, let's say, and things have gone up, to want to part ways with some capital. But it could well and truly propel you in the right direction and get you to that speed that you need to be producing these floors or manufacturing these floors to go forward. So that, I guess, that's a very broad opportunity and way to look at it. And we can start drilling down on it. But, it's I think the mentality shift needs to happen that this is a manufacturing plant, a mobile manufacturing plant, instead of, hey, I'm just a person on the tools and I just go perform this work. That doesn't work that way. Every step you do in that process has a weight to it. For example, I was speaking to a contractor not too long ago, and they mentioned they were on a 1,000 square meter project. They had to redo their 50 metal pass twice because they didn't pick up on the profile early enough. So the grouting stage was slow and they had complications, right?
Gotcha.
So really, your 50 pass ended up being a 2,000 square meter project. That's a significant thing. So that is an operator decision or something that they saw that they could have changed up straight away. So that to me would tell me, okay, perhaps we need to spend a bit more time in training, being surrounded people who can give us confidence so we can correctly select our tooling within the first 3 to 5 linear meters of pushing this machine or machine traveling forward. It's things like that whereas before it wasn't as critical because there was more margin in it because the costs were lower. But now it's super critical. Like that stuff could cost you any margin on the project, especially if you had to come down on a price because builder got you to agree to a price. Because the builder, hey, their costs have gone up 36% on average as well. They're going to look to protect their margins. So easiest people to ask about dropping their price is an unlicensed trade, like MPC. So just something to be, I guess, considerate and mindful of what's happening out there. But yeah.
When you talk about machinery and for example, tiling, I just imagine this big double axle trailer that manufactures tiles coming out one end, and then when you pull it off, the tile off the end, you go and lay it. If the machine's running on speed 3 and goes up to 10, well, hey guys, got to turn the speed up of the tile making machine on the back of the trailer there to try and keep up with things and everything. But if we turn the speed up, then it's going to break down, and then it's it's funny. I always sort of picture that in my head when we talk about a mobile manufacturing plant.
Absolutely.
I have a good imagination.
Sometimes I think I'd like to see what's happening in your head. But
no, trust me, we need a much longer podcast.
No, there's some good points to that too, Milan. Efficiency is everything. And even Mike, your comment about the mobile manufacturing, many years ago we used to use an analogy of a machine being like an ATM. If it was spitting out money all the time, you'd never switch it off. And on top of that, you'd find a way of making it spit it out faster. And I think that's part of the way that you could look at your machine upgrading to, better power that spits it out faster, improving that thing, just get it to keep on printing and printing and printing. The comment that you make about the builder's needs, I understand it. I get it. A lot of those guys are doing the same thing. They're acting from a scarcity mentality. Even the cutting costs out of my business, the looking for lower costs everywhere I can get it. These are all things that you've got to do. One thing I would really like to encourage, though, is that a lot of the feedback that we're getting is surviving. This is how we're surviving right now. These are the things that we're doing to survive. We're actually in a pretty good spot as an industry, and the MPC contractors built the MPC industry, and basically they're at a point now where it's time to innovate and build again. So I think there's a few things that are important to that. One is understanding your value. do you know what the alternative is? If it doesn't get MPC today or even a coating, what's going to be the customer's alternative? Are they going to go to vinyl? Are they going to go to some type of hybrid flooring? What are the alternatives and what do they actually cost installed? Because if you're nickel and diming over something low price and their alternative is, 40% more, guess what? You don't have to, because they've got to make a decision which way they're going to go. On top of that, if I look at the alternatives, in most cases, MPC is a premium, so it is a premium choice. So they even want it over the other ones that cost more. So do your research, pick up the phone and find out, if we were to do this project that I'm quoting right now, what is it going to cost to do with the competing products? That's where your real competition is. So get really familiar with what it costs to install the alternatives. The other thing is,
just on that, Captain Obvious here, but obviously knowing the absolute benefits of our product of MPC as well. Sustainability and serviceability, all that sort of thing, which again, you would like to think, that everyone out there sort of really knows that stuff, but don't be afraid to circle back and brush up on that as well. Obviously that's a big important piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. That kind of goes back to understanding your value.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And I guess what I really want to encourage people to do, Milan, you're talking about looking at areas for improvement which will improve your bottom line, understanding what your value is in the marketplace. And for me, it's like the mentality right now, you need to, if you want to win, you need to move from scarcity mentality to the winner's mentality.
It's easy to say, Josh. What have you got for us? How are we going to do that?
Well, the first thing I recommend doing, Mike, is when you wake up in the morning, go to the toilet and piss excellence. Of course, right? I agree, Mike. But you have to, okay? As far as you get to choose what your state is and what your focus is and what you're focusing on. Mike, Milan, you're talking before about some areas in the business that you can improve on. Now, the areas in your business that get measured get improved. So if you're looking at what are our machine operating hours a day or a week, and you start monitoring them, guess what happens? People start paying attention to those numbers. And if those numbers are important to your business, guess what? You measure them and then you see how you can improve them. If you're measuring bag rates, if you're measuring how much material is coming off the floor in first cut, how fast you're doing second cut, guess what happens? What gets measured gets improved. If you look at the things that actually could affect your bottom line if they were improved, that just goes on the list. Then you prioritize those things on the list. What is my team that I've got left going to be focusing on? We're going to be focusing on these metrics this week, this month. If 50 grit is getting done twice, guess what we're focusing on?
I had a customer the other day that's waiting to take delivery of a new GK machine, and we're talking about the benefits and everything, and they're all in, and it's currently being built and everything like that. And he said, I really can't wait, because I tell you what, mate, there is nothing that I don't measure. And I said, wow, can't wait to hear your feedback once you get that thing in your hand. So, really it was great to hear, and I can't wait to hear good, measured responses of what his thoughts are when it's in his hot little hands. So.
Well, we're seeing some really great results, and I understand that everyone can't have one today, but people who have them are seeing dramatic results in a positive direction. By the way,
one thing on measuring whatever gets measured, you can improve on. That process is going to be quicker, but also it's going to give you better knowledge now that you're starting to measure things in your process when it does come time to quoting, so you can be confident in because what we're seeing now is things aren't getting measured and people are like, oh, I've got this call it imaginary quote for X amount of dollars. Can you match it? Oh yeah, I can match it. Yeah, I need this job. How do you know if you can match it if you exactly don't know your measurables? What's going to be left at the end of the project?
Yeah.
So it's improving the process through measurements, absolutely, but it starts all the way at the front, on the beginning of the process, which is, I guess, quoting a project.
Quoting a project? Who's even doing that now? I'm on the tools. I don't have a sales guy anymore. I'm not even doing the sales anymore. And that's probably another thing that a lot of the conversation that we're having now is already at exactly the scenario that you just brought up, Milan. I've got a project here. It's next week. I've got a quote for this. Can you match it? Even if it's not that particular scenario, it's when you're being involved or in the process. If you have had to scale back your team to the point that you are now on the tools every day, how do you expect that you're going to be able to articulate the value of your services and your products if you're not able to get in front of the clients anymore because you're stuck on the tools? If you had 2 guys on site and you were measuring all of your processes and you were able to improve them, even if it was only your first and second cut or your first cut and your transition, if you could improve those processes 20%, there's a good chance that you get half a day or a day to actually be able to focus on the business and the sales, increasing the margin. So you make the money before you start the job, not while you're on it. That's actually, even though we're talking about the on the project stuff, that's actually the hardest time to be increasing that margin or protecting your margin. So if you're stuck on the tools, it's really hard to be able to increase that upfront quote when you don't have the time to do it. And you will be accepting the scenario that Milan presented before.
The time restraint, agreeing to things because you don't have time to it. Oh, I didn't look at it, but I got some photos and we agreed to it. Off I go.
Yeah.
That could be a danger as well.
Roll the dice again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Whereas, like a lot of the times, when we do our seminars and whatnot, we talk about the process, but we talk about a lot of the problems that could come up in what we do day to day, and the number one tool to solve problems is at the start, having conversations. So same scenario here. You're going to save the most money at the start by scoping it out properly and focusing time on selling the product properly. I know it's interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think, like I said before, if you're shifting from survival mentality to the winning mentality, there's enough Disney, stories with really happy endings, right? But they've always got one thing that's always going on. They've got a challenge, and then they've got to focus on the solution. Okay, It's the same thing for all of those winning teams. Whatever your favorite football team is, they've all got the same thing. They've got a willingness to win, and when they have the willingness to win, they focus on all the things that they need to do to win. When you're just a surviving team hanging around the bottom of the ladder, you can tell the difference. It's the things that they focus on. It's the things that they do. It's the aspects that they improve on. And the same thing goes for the business. If you're doing these things, if you're measuring these things, you're more conscious of what your actual costs are. You're actually more conscious of where your opportunities lie. And one of the things that I guess is working against some of us at the moment, not everyone, in this market is that, okay, it's an unregulated trade. Someone is saying, can you match the price? Well, we don't all do the same product for starters, okay? So if you're asking me to match it, I got no idea what you want me to match because one, you're kind of getting involved in the sale too late if you're matching a price to get in. However, all of you guys are innovators. You built this industry and you have the capacity to be able to tailor something, a solution to that price tag. What does that look like? If you know what all your metrics are, because you've been measuring them, you know what that cost is. Sounds like you have a budget to expectation issue. Well, we make the adjustments. I don't know most guys are doing this, but they don't actually really know what the cost is, or they're already stuck there with the cost. And the only way to claw back is either A, to increase the customer's budget. Don't have time to do that because we're already getting involved in the sale at the wrong time. And we are the only way to improve our margin right now is to increase our productivity or reduce our costs to implement or install that system. So that's a pretty hard squeeze. So if I was in that situation, I'd be going, okay, either I need to know what my walkaway is here, or I need to get to that point where I've got 20% more productivity in the business on the install side, so I can be freed up for half a day to a day to actually be getting involved in the sales process with the client much higher up in the process. So we've already had the discussion around what it is that they actually want, what their budget is. If they really want that, that's what the budget needs to look like, or we're going to have to make some compromises. One thing I'm not doing is accepting your low budget at the end of the project when I don't have the time to talk about it.
Set yourself up for the win.
What, like a winner? Speaking of your scenario before, though, Milan, we've heard it heaps.
Which one's that one?
Oh, Dave gave me this price, but I want you to do it.
If they don't know why. I mean, there's a reason they want you to do it, isn't there?
Correct. There's a reason why they want you to do it. Dave said he'll do it for this price, but I really want you to do it. Dave is ruining the market. Is it true?
It's a hypothetical name, by the way. So you're aware. All the Daves out there, we do like you.
All right, let me look up what is the rarest name. You live in a region, and apparently the guy across town has promised to do this project for 20% lower than what I normally do work. Mm-hmm. But they want me to do it. Can you do it for the same price, Milan?
I mean, with this sort of stuff, and I see this come up in a lot of the conversation, and people get fixed on the price. That's it. There's nothing else. So we talk about education and training, upskilling. Perhaps one of the education might be, how do I market my product better? Or how do I articulate value of what we do versus somebody else?
That's a big one for me. That's my favourite. Your point of difference.
Why
do they want you to do it? There's a reason, and if there's not a clear-cut reason, they need to know what it is. Circling back to what Josh is saying about making sure they know why they should use you. Sorry to interrupt, mate.
So, no, that's fine. So one of the things could be, okay, this person, call it Dave, has priced a project at X amount of dollars. But Dave's a single operator. The project is about, how big is this project going to be?
I knew you'd want specifics, man.
Okay. You have to be.
Okay.
You have to have the information to be able to educate the person that's trying to compare prices.
All right. Okay.
Because I could give you something with a crew of 5 contractors, team of 5, on a large-scale project that the other person can't give you at that price.
Yeah.
And what's going to be the most important thing on that project is going to be time. For you to get that floor space back, you essentially, by paying X amount of dollars extra, you're getting time back, which means your build can continue a whole lot faster. You can hand over this project. That's more value than, now we're not looking at the square metre rate. We're looking at, all right, this is the value I've just added.
Yeah, but I need this job done next week, Milan. It's 600 square meters. It's a surface polish, and Dave said he's going to do it for this. Like, we want you to do it, and we only care about the price. That's my job. I protect the margin for the company by looking at the prices.
So surely that margin would include when the tenant can move in and start paying and all that sort of thing. I'd like to think that'd be in the mix.
Dave can do it for X. Will you do it for the same? We want you to do the job.
No, I won't. And let me tell you why.
Yep.
It's a big part of it's probably why you're on the phone to me. Because the quality of work, how it's done, how we turn up to site, how we operate on site, how we work in with other trades, and dare I say, obviously the quality of work, and all within a specific time frame.
I'm Bob the builder right now. What am I doing? I'm driving a wedge.
Okay. All right, Bob.
I'm driving a wedge.
Yeah, you're driving a wedge. You are.
Yeah, to get my
How do
way.
we know what
Hang on. I'd be saying, Bob, give me 5 minutes. I'll see what I can do with those numbers. Hey, Dave, I just had Bob on the phone, and I know that you don't do work for these prices. Is he asking you to do this? Oh, what are we hearing at the moment? Well, Bob told me that you were going to do it for that. So he asked me if I'd match it too. There's the wedge, right? Like I was saying before, you guys built this industry. It survives and it's sustainable if you guys protect it.
Are you telling me Bob's not playing fair? I was assuming Bob was playing fair.
There's a few things you need to know about Bob the Builder that they didn't do on TV, right? And there's the words I want not going to use in a public forum to describe him. But this is the kind of stuff that we're hearing quite a bit of. Okay? You don't have to go immediately into defensive mode because Dave's your ally in this industry. You guys are building this territory or this region. Call Dave and say, hey, I've been invited to undercut you on this project, right? Are you bidding on this? Obviously you can't do price fixing or anything like that, or any anti-competitive behaviour. But talk openly to the other contractors because you've got to look after each other. You can't have guys driving a wedge here, using you against each other in order to improve their margin. And I know everyone's got to do it at the moment. They're all trying to protect their business, but it can't be at the sacrifice of your own. And quite often, like I said, we sit in a bit of a position where we get to hear both sides of the story. And often the story is, it's gossip. I'm hearing that Dave is, ruining the industry. He's cutting prices, blah, 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 blah. I go and talk to Dave and Dave says, well, actually, Robbo's doing this over there and he's dropping the prices and, trying to buy all the work. Well, guess what? Who's right? Who's wrong?
It must be them because it's not me.
Yeah. So, again, that goes from the scarcity mentality behaviours to the winning behaviour, right? How are we going to win this? How are we going to win this market back? How are we going to ensure the sustainability of the industry? It's talking to each other. Pick up the phone, say, hey, I don't want to do a job for this kind of money. If that's what you're saying you're doing it for, I'm happy for you to have it. Oh, I'm not doing it for that kind of money. We need to work together to ensure that, that we're going to, this is viable for everybody. And you do that when you're talking to each other.
So you basically got two pills to swallow. You can choose one or the other.
Yeah.
So you've either got to swallow a bit of pride and pick up the phone, or you've got to swallow that bigger, jagged-edged pill of a much lower rate and effect against your business. So you've got to decide which one you might want to swallow, in other words.
Because often the story that we're hearing, that we're getting back from both guys, it's the same, but it's BS. Fabricated by someone else who has an interest in getting a lower price.
And you said we're in the middle sometimes. Yeah, we are in the middle. And we do stop short of saying, are you sure? Because he said it was you and now you're saying it's him. And that's a bit of an awkward conversation on our side of the fence as well, absolutely. But it does happen probably more often than you might think.
Yes. Unfortunately, we just can't pick up the phone and sort out every issue. It's not our job, but like I say, think about that difference between scarcity mentality and the winning mentality.
Very good point.
Decide which one you want to adopt. Decide where you want to end up.
What if I really don't like Dave? You know, he's undercut me on 5 projects already, and I know that.
That's that pill you've got to swallow, mate. That's that pride. You've just got to push that to one side for a minute. Otherwise, the other pill you've got to swallow is the size of a football, and it's going to affect your business and therefore knock-on effects from that.
Pride, profit. Which one am I going to go for?
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can swallow a little bit of pride, and maybe build a relationship, and a relationship starts somewhere. It's got to start somewhere, doesn't it?
You've got to have a conversation.
Right? Yep. Just like in the playground, you're told to go over and shake hands and be friends, and someone's got to be the bigger person, don't they?
Yeah. Someone's going to get that job next week. Someone's going to go broke on that job next week, possibly. But you can go broke at home watching Days of Our Lives, and that's much more enjoyable.
Is that your favourite TV show?
Yeah, Jerry Springer's not on anymore.
Yeah.
That's the real wedge, Jerry Springer.
Hey, he understood the art.
He did.
And there's a good chance Bob grew up watching it. All right.
But him and Oprah and Ellen all had a chat at one point and said, what are you up to? Because I'm going to do this.
I bloody bet they did too, mate. I bloody bet they did. Despite the fact that they were all competing for the same airtime, I bet you they all had pretty good relationships.
Just got Brittany off camera looking at me going, what is all this stuff you're talking about?
Oh, yeah, we've got to come up with something for the younger generation. I'm out. I'm out.
YouTube?
Paw Patrol, they definitely talk to Bluey. That's about all I got.
I don't know. Is Instagram and Facebook, do you reckon they're talking to each other off the books a bit, just on behalf of social network and legalities and things like that? Do you think they're probably all the same group, by the same person anyway? I knew I'd run that. Brittany, can we just edit that one out, please? Just that part of Mike trying to be relevant. If we could just get rid of that part, please, that'd be great. Thanks. That's a no from Britt. Great.
It's good content.
Or what about Elon Musk when he's got it's not tweet anymore. You don't tweet anymore, do you? It's X. Mm-hmm. So do you think Elon Musk might be chatting to Zuckerberg and a bit off the books over a stiff scotch and talking about how they're going to get through some legalities and things of social media and all that sort of thing?
Do you want my personal take on that?
No, probably not. But you get where I'm coming from. I'm trying to win here. I need to swear. There we go. We can delete all that out now.
Is that your dump button?
Yeah, 100%. Let's delete the last 5 minutes.
Look, put it this way. Every year, all the world leaders, they meet in Davos, okay? So if you want to be a leader in the industry, take a leaf out of their book.
There you go. That's all I was trying to say, by the way. I was trying to find something that we could relate it to, but yes.
So want to be a winner, want to be a player, pick up the phone and get some conversations happening because, we protect this one together.
Yeah. And look, is it worth a try? What's the worst that can come out of it? Yeah.
Dave goes, yeah, mate, they're my prices. Guess what? That is absolutely fine because Dave is playing in a sandpit that you don't want any involvement in. That's what his market is, and it's not yours if it doesn't work for you. That's fine.
That might not be Dave's prices on the next one.
Yeah, that's if Dave's still around.
Yeah, wow.
But again, goes back to understanding your value, understanding what you deliver, and there's a really good chance that if someone can play in that sandbox, their business is built a different way. They're building a different product for a different market. Okay, you just don't have a product for that market, and that is totally fine. Guess what? Don't market to those guys. Attract the attention from the market that you're trying to get. That's also part of it. Understanding who you are, what your value is, and who your target client is.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on what you can control.
Yeah, Davo's got it worked out.
Yeah, I was chatting to someone out on site yesterday, and there's another particular player in their region that's been reasonably effective for a period of time. But now they're kind of getting found out a bit because they're not providing the product that this other customer provides, and it's sort of come full circle a bit, and it will get found out eventually. Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a struggle in the meantime, and not a great thing for the industry by any means. But I guess, yeah, if you've been the bigger person, reached out and tried all the right things, and as you say, it still doesn't, they're still providing a lesser product for a lesser rate, but calling it something else, it will get found out eventually. Most of the time, I guess.
I agree. And you only need to look at, again, we sit in a bit of a privileged position in that we get to look at the database and how much it changes over a 5 or 10 year cycle. And you can see who the industry leaders and players are because they've remained. Mm-hmm. And there have been literally hundreds who have come and gone. Mm-hmm. And we know what their formula has been.
What was one of the comments? Margin might be a little thinner this year. Hopefully weeds out some of the competition. And I feel like that's maybe what that particular person might be alluding to.
That's all part of the cycle. Mm. If you've been in the game for 10 years or more, you've probably seen this at least once or twice. And
being out on site, chatting with people, and I do use the term main players such as yourselves, and that's obviously our preferred clients, I suppose you'd call it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. The guys who are helping to build this industry, not the ones who are riding the coattails. Mm-mm.
Just another side note too, I mean, there was also mentioned in the comments that, if and when it bounces back a bit and things like that. But I'm sure everyone would agree that any changes and things that we can do to make at the moment is only going to benefit even more if it does bounce back a bit more and things like that. It's all good practice.
I don't think you read out this one here from Joshua San 007.
Oh, the very top one?
Yeah, the very top one.
Oh, no, I did miss that, actually.
You did miss that one?
I did miss that, sorry, yes.
Okay, well, I like his comment. It's chin up. Everyone in construction is feeling it, not just us, right? That's the reality. Now we just have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And basically, I think that's what we're talking about today. There's so many things that we can see are creating pressure. These are all the things that we can't control. Focusing on the things that we can. We all have the capacity to innovate. We all have the capacity to adapt and to see where the problems are. Most of the guys who get into the game because they're great problem solvers.
Mm. And you stole one of mine off this page, so I'll steal a bit of yours, and that is you've got here, stop wasting energy. Too many contractors spending all day complaining about things they can't influence. You can't negotiate inflation. You can't yell at diesel prices. You can't scare insurance companies into lowering their premiums. We do try that one from time to time. Focus on levers that you can actually pull and make a difference, and that certainly resonates in everything we're talking about, I think, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Milan, something you want to add to that?
I did have a train of thought that I lost after you were speaking, and then Mike said something, and now I've lost it. But it's really good. No, I'm kidding. It's I guess there's only so much advice or direction we can give in Tech Talk, and at Works Plus, we've always been big about growing this industry. So whoever, I guess, is listening, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to talk more about this stuff. We're here trying to grow the industry, trying to innovate, trying to make you guys more productive. It goes without saying, we're here trying to elevate this industry. So, yeah, I hope you get a bit of value out of this talk, but moving forward, we're always reach away.
And like you say, I mean, you can always reach out, and we want to, we're happy to help. A lot of this work that MPC contractors do, it's long hours and very isolated. A lot of time with just headphones on or earmuffs on, working on your own or with a small team, but it's mostly isolated tasks that you're carrying out the whole time. So it's sometimes really good just to have a different perspective on your business to help you show some of the opportunities that you just can't see. And so
you do make that comment quite a bit, and I think, Milan, it's definitely something that we see when we do the seminar training as well. Just that people come out of their shell a bit and be super collaborative, and you can really see that sort of what you're saying really resonates for sure.
Yeah, we're not interested in you surviving. We're interested in you thriving. So if you don't feel like you're heading in that direction, pick up the phone. Mike, Milan, they're good blokes.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Righto, Gump. You're more of a bubba.
Sometimes my brain feels that way.
You should see what we cut out of this. from both sides, mate, not just from you.
Except instead of shrimp, you're going, we got impact resins, we got specialty resin, we got specialty pro resins, we got what else we got? We got the flex resins, we got the Bubba resins.
We've got the whole range.
Yep. All right, are we wrapped up enough, or do we want to close that more formally?
No, I think so. I'll just, absolutely back up what Milan said, and that is, comments, love them, appreciate them. We do say that this is, a podcast, and we just have a conversation with some leading points, but absolutely no reason whatsoever that anyone else can't be a part of this conversation. So,
absolutely.
The feedback and comments is very much appreciated. Yeah,
and we're also going to circle back to doing some actual tech talks soon, aren't we? Talking about tech.
Yes, that has been made. That comment has been made, and but again, I think this has been pretty important as well, and for sure.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
This is the work before the work.
It is.
Well, I guess it's you've got to discuss the problems before you go out and fix them, and so we've been talking about things that we can control, and I guess the next phase for us is getting towards the things we control, pulling the levers.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
Cheers,
next
guys.
time.
Thank you.
This show is proudly supported by Works Plus. Works Plus brings total solutions to all concrete grinding and polishing contractors to make it totally work for their daily operations. We hope you've enjoyed this show. Make sure to tune in each week where we're going to dive deep into all things related to concrete grinding and polishing. We're here to help you so that you can boost your outcomes on the floor.